What's up, guys? Tom here with some quick thoughts from initial playthrough with Bill Trinan with Eiji Aonuma as they showed off the beginning of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. As we see, the game starts off pretty quick. Link woke up in a pool, kind of magic water, and a lot of sort of technology surrounding him. And we don't really know what's going on. He kind of just gets some clothes. You have equipable clothing, and then he's off on his way, probably within maybe 1 minute, out of a cave. So he was in a place called the Shrine of Resurrection, which makes sense for, resurrection, maybe resurrecting a hero of time in a way. And as we do see outside, it's confirmed that sort of an old ruins of the Temple of Time is there. Maybe it'll play a part in the game. Also in the cave, you quickly get the book item we've been seeing, which is actually the Sheikah Slate, which is sort of like a piece of stone, and when it flips around, it does look a lot like the Wii U gamepad, and that acts as your map when you're holding it in your hand. So in the cave, you get sort of an old shirt showing that clothing does maybe add to your armor in a way, or things get worn out. And they mention you can go nude. I don't know if they mean just with boxing shorts, kind of hope so. But you will be more vulnerable to enemies while you don't have armor on or less clothing. A neat fact, they showed off that you can jump in the game, and that does affect the stamina meter. In the demo, we're only going to be allowed to be in the Great Plateau here at E3, which should be a huge area, they're saying. We shouldn't be able to go to all the ends of the world, but compared to some of the other areas on the map they showed, it was tiny in comparison. The neat thing is a huge variety of weapons already in this demo they went through, from the tree branch that we've already had in the past to a rusty broadsword that broke later when it sort of ran out of health, kind of like what a big Goron sword used to do, but far quicker. And even a Bobo club, that those ones, they could catch fire too, not just the stick. Neat fact we learned is that you have to eat food, kind of like Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. There are no hearts in this game to pick up, so he was eating mushrooms, you could get different steak cooking on the fire, so that I think will really add to the survival element. Despite there being some voice narration in the beginning of the trailer, we found that NPCs had traditional text display boxes as they have in the past, so there probably won't be full voice narration. A neat thing they had in the game is that you could cut down a tree, as we saw, but you could further cut that fallen tree and get firewood from it as an item. Something to note about enemy damage is that Link only took a quarter heart damage when he was fighting one of the bokoblins. What was neat though is that when he encountered them, they were resting by a campsite. And they had, they were just relaxing. They went to go grab their club from a nearby log and then go attack Link. And when Link was fighting them, he could stun one and he looks like he was dead. But he actually picked up the item from him and he got back up later. They had a lot of emotion in the enemies, almost like Wind Waker's moblins. Furthermore, when fighting them, there appeared to be something like Bayonetta's Witch Time, where it was a perfect timing attack. When you dodged, you could sort of attack the bokoblin while he was in the air, and he was in slow motion, but Link was moving sort of at regular speed. They confirmed that the enemies we saw in the initial trailer, that huge, massive creature chasing Link on the horse, shooting lasers everywhere, those are called Guardians, and we see a ton of them broken down and resting in the world. The music in the game, we're so used to that overworld theme, but that's not going to be on always. A lot of time you'll just be hearing to environmental sounds. They were showing a lot of emergent gameplay, moving around explosive barrels. As always, you could set up these barrels, is what Bill did, and then he threw his club at the nearby fire, it caught on fire, and they exploded. And Link was maybe 40, 50 feet away, and he still got caught in the blast from these 3 barrels. I'm looking forward to explosive bowling later on, and trying it out of the demo myself. So stay tuned for more from GameXplain on Zelda, and also on all the new Pokemon details as E3 continues. Thanks guys, goodbye.